All right, welcome back to my channel. And so, if you didn't know, Alex Big Blue is a YouTube channel, and he is doing a 10 comic tag video. I know that I saw a 64-page special do this, and I thought, hey, this is a pretty good idea. I know that Bearded and I like to do these top 10 covers. This is for top 10 books that you would like to have in your collection. I think the idea is that you're not like saying like, here's ridiculous stuff. So most of the books that I have, there's one exception that I think might be a little bit more pricey. Most of these books tend to be under the $50 range. So they're kind of books that I've been hoping that I can find in like dollar bins or $5 bins. But maybe, you know, get lucky and find them at a little bit cheaper. So I'm going to kind of start this off. There's not really any like aim or order of how I'm going to be doing this. But the first book I want to do is, and actually, before I even get to this, sorry, I did do a top 10 books under $50. So some of these I actually stole from that. I have gotten a decent amount of those books, and I think some of those books might have pushed themselves out of the $50 range. So I kind of went with that. Maybe I'll have that short up here. So if you want to check that out, this was something I did at the beginning of the year. But I figured I'd kind of start new and add some like weird new fresh ones. If you don't follow me already, please do so, as I am nearing 500 subscribers. And yeah, some of these books are going to be kind of weird, but I figured this is how I'll do it. So first one up, I'm going to go with Black Hammer #1. Black Hammer is one of my all-time favorite indie books, and while I do have a copy of the B cover, I never grabbed the A cover. Now this book is starting to gain a little bit more traction. It is a little bit more expensive of a book, and I'd rather just secure a copy of #1 before it gets kind of unobtainable. Hopefully, you know, this is a book that maybe I can find at some sort of comic book shop just in the back section. You know, I think they're saying this is a $50 book, but, you know, I should hopefully be able to find it somewhere between $5 to $20 would be my hope for this one. So the next book up, and this is probably one of the more expensive ones too, but this is Ms. Marvel #1. Ms. Marvel is one of my favorite characters that I've really started to get into in the Marvel universe, and you know, I just really love her as a character. I think, you know, I've been trying to collect some books that I think hopefully my daughter should like. So this is kind of one of those books too that, you know, with the show, it's seen some dips and higher ups. I'm not really sure what the value of this is, but yeah, this is another book that I would really like to have in my collection. I know that there's kind of like a Supergirl cover similar to this, and I just kind of love the cover. So let's stay with the Ms. Marvel theme, and this is another book that I would love to have. It's Champions #1. This is one of the variants, and is the John Tyler Christopher variant. If you know who he is huge into doing these negative space covers, and I just love this one. You know, I would probably put every single one of those negative space variants on here, but most of them are over $100. So this one seems to be one that is a little bit cheaper. So I would hope that it would be nice to get that and be able to secure that into my collection. So I know that I've talked about some of the weird stuff that I like and I like to collect. And that book is going to be Marvel Age #98. This is the first appearance, and I think cover appearance, of Toxic Avenger. I have, you know, kind of gotten into, I know that there has been kind of big boom with a new movie, but I love the Toxic Avenger movies. Those were kind of some of the movies I liked in my, like, you know, late teens, early 20s. You know, they're kind of just goofy, raunchy horror movies, but I would love to add that book. I already have the Toxic Avenger #1, so that would be another one. And hey, let's stick with that theme of Toxic Avenger. Let's go with Amazing Heroes Swimsuits #2. This is the first pinup of Toxic Avenger, so this is kind of like more of a weird little niche book for that. But hey, I figured if I'm going Toxic Avenger, let's add this other one in. It's kind of, you know, one of those books too that, you know, I hope that I just find because I'm looking in dollar bins or something weird like that, and end up getting a chance to grab this book. You know, it is not something that I get on eBay, but if I can find that in a cheap bin, I figure, hey, that is going to be a great place to have. And while I was looking in there, I noticed that there is an Amazing Heroes swimsuit #3, and that had the first pinup of Ren and Stimpy before they entered Marvel Comics. If you followed along throughout this time, I have randomly talked about my love for Ren and Stimpy and how they got me into collecting comics. So I figure, hey, why not add that book to the list as something that I could get? Now let's get on to another issue. This is Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, issue #2. This is the third appearance of Miles Morales. I think his second appearance and his first appearance are both books that are very expensive and have maybe moved their self out of a book that I really would like to be able to get or obtain. But I do love the cover of #2, and being the third overall pick, or sorry, his third overall appearance. I think it's a book that is still obtainable. I think, He Collector app has it like at $35. So I think this is still a book that maybe you can find, backed in bin diving, hopefully. One of the other books that I added to that list that I made was Batman Mad Love 64-page special that is from Batman the Adventures, and this I think is its second or third appearance of Harley Quinn. Sorry that I did not know the exact one, but this is a book too that is a little bit cheaper than that first appearance of Harley Quinn, which is skyrocketing as she has become a mainstay in the DC universe. I think this is a cool book that you can kind of get that has her added to your collection. And with me being a huge Batman fan, this is a little bit easier. I'm not a huge fan of Harley Quinn, so spending thousands of dollars to get her first appearance may not be something that I want to get, but this is still a cool book to be able to add to the collection and say that I have it. The next book is Marvel Holiday Special #1. This is when Santa becomes a mutant. I don't really know anything about this, but I know it's kind of a comical thing. I would love to find this book, be able to read it and see that story, and also just add it to my collection because, hey, you want to know what's kind of funny? Santa being a mutant and in the X-Men, or I guess the entire Marvel universe. This last book is definitely the most expensive book of all, and trying to find a book like this in Comic-Cons and stuff like that is just a book that I think is always going to be expensive, but I figure I'll add it because, hey, this is a book that I really want in my collection, and it is Halloween #1. This is the first appearance of Michael Myers in comics. This is from Chaos Comics, and yeah, I think the hard thing is these are just low print runs, and because Michael Myers is one of those characters that people love, me especially, I think that Halloween is always going to be worth money. So this is a book that at some point I would like to find and add to my collection. It has been one that I haven't actually been able to, but that's kind of it, and that's where I'd like to be. So one of the things I'm going to do here now is I'm going to tag 10 channels to also do this challenge with me. If you haven't already checked out AlexBigBlue, his link will be down below and he'll be tagged in here. But here are the 10 people that I think should join me in this journey. First off is Bearded Comic Bro. We already do the cover challenges together, so jump on. The rest I'm going to just spout off some names, add them in, and yeah, please join us. So Nick the Comic Nerd, I'm going to say Nick Kicks in Comics. We're going to do Cup of Comics. I'm going to do 22 Comics. I'm going to say D. Piercy Comics. I'm going to say Brian LCS. I'm going to add a comic bookworm, Adrian Panda Awesome, and I'm not sure, I might do 11 here, but maybe I'm not to 11. I kind of lost track of of count while I was doing this, but the final one I'll throw up in here is Comic Book Poser. So please go ahead, make a list of your top 10 comics that you wish to add to your collection. I don't know that there was any stipulation that they had to be comics under $50, but I know that 64-page special kind of made it seem like he was going to do lower end books. So hey, whatever. I didn't know if there was any sort of thing. I went with that route. Let me know what you're thinking. And yeah, I would love to see it. Make sure that if you guys end up making one of these, please tag me in your video, as I would love to check it out, but also tag AlexBigBlue. I think he is going to be making a playlist for these. So if you do make one, he'll be adding you there, and hopefully you can get added to the playlist. As always, I've been Colt. Thank you for going down this journey with me, and peace.